What's going on, everybody? David here, back with another video. So we're going to do a stimulus package update, and we're going to talk about the election as well. So that's what we're going to talk about today. But first off, if you guys can do me a favor, please hit that like button. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. Also, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the little bell notification. That way you'll get notified anytime we put out a video. All right, so you guys know it's obvious. We are not seeing a stimulus package before the election. And we've let these politicians on all sides say that we're going to be getting a stimulus package for the last 5 months, and we have not seen anything. So what would you do if you were an employer and you had an employee that's been promising you something for 5 months and they haven't come through? What would you do? What would be your response? I know what I would do. That person would no longer be working for me. And so we have an election coming up in a couple of days, and I think this is a good opportunity for people to reach out to these politicians and let them know, look, you guys need to represent us. We're not talking about business. We're not talking about all these other special interest groups. We're talking about the American people. You need to represent us. And if you can't, then you need another job. Maybe get a job where you're working for businesses or you're working for special interest groups. But as a politician, you need to be able to represent us. So we're looking at a situation right now, and I think the Senate is probably where we need to focus the majority of our attention, because over the last 5 months, we've seen the Senate not do anything when it comes to a stimulus package. And they put on the floor a couple of skinny bills that really had they weren't going to go anywhere, and they knew they weren't going to go anywhere. And it didn't even have direct payments, and it didn't have a lot of things that the American people have been asking for. So we've seen this in the last 5 months in the Senate. So there's an opportunity. There is an opportunity to change the dynamic of the Senate. And so right now you have 53 Republicans in the Senate. You have Mitch McConnell as the leader of the Senate. That means Mitch McConnell has the power to bring anything that he wants to the floor, and you can bring something to the floor and vote on it. So we've seen what he's been bringing to the floor and what he's been voting on. And like I previously said, nothing when it comes to stimulus package, nothing that everyone was asking for. But you did see the Supreme Court nomination that went through fast. 13 days. We're waiting 5 months for a stimulus package, but that went through in 13 days. So we have an opportunity. 53 Senate Republicans, 45 Senate Democrats, 2 independents. The 2 independents, they caucus with the Democrats, so really you have 47 votes. So what we need right now, what we'll need if we want to change the dynamic of the Senate, which means Mitch McConnell no longer be the leader. It doesn't matter if he wins his seat in Kentucky. If the Republicans do not have the majority, then you will have a Democrat as the leader. So the Democrats right now, they need 3 seats if Biden wins, or 4 seats if Biden doesn't win. The reason that they need 4 seats if Biden doesn't win is because the vice president, whoever the vice president is, they break any ties. So in a situation where you have 50 Republicans and 50 Democrats in the Senate, then that vice president comes in and they break the tie. Obviously, if the vice president is a Republican, he's going to break the tie on the Republican side. And the leader will be a Republican. So if we're looking at a situation where Trump wins re-election and you get 4 seats, if the Democrats get 4 seats, well, they'll have 51. And so by them having 51, they have the majority. And so there won't be a tiebreaker. There won't be a reason for the vice president to break a tie in that situation. Now, in bills, you could have that happen. You could have the vice president still come in and break a tie in a situation where, let's say, one of the Democrats, you have 51 Democrats, but one doesn't want to vote with the Democrats and they vote with the Republicans. And now you have 50-50. And then that's when you'll bring in the vice president. But what we're looking at right now, if Biden wins, and all the polls are showing Biden winning right now. So we'll have to see where that goes. The polls were showing Hillary Clinton winning 4 years ago. So we'll have to see how strong the polls really are. But I think now when it comes to the polls, they saw that big mistake 4 years ago. And I think a lot of the pollsters are looking at this whole situation. They're taking in a lot of information that they didn't take in 4 years ago because of what happened 4 years ago. Now they're really careful. So I'm thinking the polls are going to be pretty spot on when it comes to the election. So if Biden wins, they need 3 seats. And there's 1 seat right now that Democrats are having some problems with. That's Doug Jones' seat in Alabama. He's a Democrat and he's running against Tuberville. Tuberville is doing very, very well. So Doug Jones might not win that seat. So you might even, if you're looking at the Democrats, you might even if Biden wins, you might still need the four seats because one of the seats might flip. The Alabama seat might flip. So that's where we are. And so that's why I'm saying it's very important for us to get out and vote. Now, the reason that I'm focused on the Senate is because if you change the dynamic of the Senate, we might not see a stimulus package in the next couple of months. We might have to wait until January. So we might have to wait until next year. But it will be a lot easier if you have Democrats running the Senate, Democrats running the House, which I don't think the House is going to change. The House is going to stay the way it is. So you'll have Democrats running the Senate, Democrats running the House. Even if the president is still there, even if President Trump is still there, you have the legislators that can push a bill his way. And President Trump, it would be very hard for him to say no to the American people when it comes to direct payments and a variety of other things. It was a little easier for him to say no this time because he had cover. He had the Senate Republicans kind of saying, oh, well, yeah, we don't want another stimulus package. And so even though the president's saying that he wanted it, he still had cover. Because if the president really, really wanted it and he's the leader of the Republican Party, it should have been done. It should have been done. They should have listened to him. The senators should have listened to him. So that's where we are right now. If we can change the Senate, the dynamic of the Senate, then we have the best opportunity at getting a large stimulus package. If we do not change the dynamic of the Senate and we go into next year, 2021, Mitch McConnell's already said that he's going to wait until 2021 anyway. And because Mitch McConnell said that he wants to wait until 2021, then we're going to have the lame duck. He's already indicated it's going to be a lame duck Congress. So nothing will get done in the next 2 months is basically what he's saying. So if you change the dynamic in January, hopefully we can get a nice stimulus package, retroactive, so they'll come back. Hopefully they'll go all the way back until August and then fill in those gaps. But we'll have to see where it goes. But yeah, we're in a very, very serious time. You need to hold politicians accountable. And this was a huge failure on our government's part when it comes to helping the American people. Huge failure. And so I think that people have already spoken. We have I think 90 million people have already voted, and that is a record. And so we're in a situation now where I think it was 120 something million people voted in 2016 total, and we already have 90 million people that have voted. So we're in a situation where people are speaking up. They're speaking up and letting a government know that they are unhappy with what they've been doing, especially this year. I mean, with COVID-19 and with the handling of the stimulus package, I think it's been a huge disaster, and that's just my opinion. So I want to know what you guys think. So in the comment section, let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.